Alright, we are back in our laboratory. It's 3:20 a.m. in the morning, and I might do a short playthrough, possibly, on the Monulite SMP. So let me see how my farm's been doing. Yep, so it still works. I mean, the carrots and stuff, they still work as planned. So now I might check on making sugarcane and the flax farm, but I also have other ideas and ambitions because I'm trying to think if I could make a contraption that allows me to. Actually, I do want to see how I can make a few contraptions, because I know there's like many that I can make, but all it requires is a redstone, or is it like a minecart assembler? And I do have a little bit of allergies, but I've already taken an Advil sinus or over-the-counter drug where it's supposed to help with the allergies, but who knows? It may work, may not work, but it's all about the experience. I am a little tired too, so this will be quite short. But I do want to see where I place the assembly. I can craft another one, but I want to see if I misplaced it or it's placed somewhere over here, maybe near the trains. No, so there's nothing over here. So I might as well have to make another one then. I mean, I hope that I had like another one around, but I might have accidentally misplaced it. So I gotta use and I think for this one, it'll be the same way, just like it's gonna be the same, just like the drill, but it might be for cutting trees. But I think I can also just make a regular portable storage, which I think would be a good idea. Like, all I just need is the cart assembly, put a cart there. I had to get a lever to activate that so we can have so we can like enable and disable. But this is one way for us to like automate. So now all we got to do is add, like, I can literally just add like a block here, and I can put chests on it. I mean, this is the creative way to have like a backpack, but it can sometimes look ridiculous. Because this was playing in my mind over and over. Because I know Sometimes I might like I might have a chest here, just gotta glue it to the post, and then we got like that. I just gotta like see what it looks like, because if I try to glue this all together, okay, and then if I use it, okay, so that's cool. So that means if I do this, take that off, and then place that contraption back on, what we get is a chest in which we can like move stuff around and also pick up. So that was my plan, to make something like that. But I definitely do need to see if I can try to rename the contraption, because I just want to see if it's like possible. Okay. Oh yeah, that's one thing. I think this is the one you try to be careful of. You don't want to like accidentally like break any of this. It could be messy. It's like you gotta do this and then use the lever, and then you click it. There you go. So if this is the contraption, let me see if this could be renamed as something else. If I rename it as storage, I just want to see, like, does it change the property of the block? And if I place it, okay, so yeah, so it can be named as storage, but since it's technically named as storage, what if we place it back on here like this? Okay, and if I flick it back on, okay, so it goes right back to being just that. Okay, so I think what I'm gonna go ahead and do is probably like make a few more walls, and then just build like maybe like I'm thinking, because if I do want to make this portable, then I could just put like 6 chests here, or 3 chests here, and 3 chests on the other side. It's gonna look like a very weird, it's gonna look very weird, but I think it's gonna be something intriguing. And it also does hold like the value of storage, which is quite intriguing. So like I can still like put like some glue on here, or maybe I can make this like I do need to like even this out. So let me see. Okay. Like we have, like I could pick like 1, 2, 3, like 6 full chests there, and then the back there could be some more chests, or I can just keep most of the chests up front so we can at least have like some storage. But I'll say this may be the most effective way to have like portable storage. Like say if I'm going mining, but I doubt I'll go mining since I'll probably just be using the drill, which that has its own storage and etc. But this will force me to use more rails. So this can be a humbling experience. Since they remove backpacks, we just gotta make our very own backpacks with Create. It may not be a backpack, but it's close enough to storage. All we gotta do is add the glue to all this. Okay. Is that applied? All that should be applied. We do this. Does it like... There we go. So it still names it as storage. That's actually good. That means I could name this contraption as drill. Or mining drill. There we go. So we have a mining drill and storage. So now we have 2 contraptions in our inventory. So now have I built that, I'm just going to see what else I can learn. Because I know there's a lot of things I can do, but I just want to see, like, what have I not done before? Because I'm thinking about making the rotation for the other farm, but I'm also looking at the time that I currently have, because I do feel a little bit exhausted, but I can do a little bit of create, and then later on I can come back and do some more create. Like, I'm not going to sit here and try to force myself too much to a sitting, but this is what I feel like. So if it's going to be for 30 minutes, then so be it. So let me see what we can learn with create. So we have chain conveyors, water wheels. We have mechanical saw. Let me check what this does. Okay. Okay. That's if I want to filter it. Cutting trees with mechanical saw. Okay. Wait, what? Using mechanical saws on contraptions. Interesting. And then I can add a little storage too. Oh, that's fascinating. But even though they can cut trees, how can I replant the trees? Because I know they have like replanters. Let me see. Place blocks, use blocks. Okay, it can harvest blocks too. So it can harvest. But I just want to see, get it like replant crops. We can add shears. I'm not sure why would anybody want to shear a sheep unless they're trying to make a farm, like a wool farm. You can use it for farming. Okay. Yeah, I can use this just to make the rose quartz a little bit easier, but this does. I would say that will make it easier. I'm trying to see what else I can learn, because I know I'm going to try to think about making a tree cutter, but I'll have to see that happening. So, train controls. repackager, control rail. Well, we also have contraption controls. Interesting. I think what I know is like an elevator control. Cardboard. Let me see. Wearable equipment for increased style and stealth when full set equipped. Sneak to activate an inconspicuous disguise. Cardboard. Cardboard is made from pulp. Pulp comes from sapling and water. I might try to make some cardboard. I might just try to make cardboard. I'm going to see what happens when I make the cardboard. Or make the armor for cardboard. So what should I do? What shall I do? Because I have a lot of things on my mind. Lots of things on my mind. I know we have a mixer. Let me see how many saplings we have. Because I know we can make a tree cutter. But I'm also trying to figure out, like, how can I deploy? I'm not sure if it's like a plow or... Let's see. Okay. So these are like hoppers in a sense. So they break. Inventory is attached to the container will pick up their drops automatically. So it kind of like scoops it, but how does it place it down? Okay, they also create farmland. But again, how can I place crops? You can kick, you can move stuff with the plow. So I think it seems like it's a lot more... It might be a lot more... yeah. I think if I do want to make a tree cutting farm, it would mean I would have to let it, you know, use the pistons. It cuts it down. Or I could just try it with a sample tree and just use a mechanical or a hand crank just to see what happens. Because if that replaces me using an axe completely, that's actually interesting. Because I did use it once in Prominence, but I never get to really use its full power. I might have just underestimated it. Okay, so we have this, and we're going to get a hand crank. We're going to try this for science to see what happens if it interacts with a tree. Will this replace cutting? I know I can also, you know, put it near a tree as like a mine cart, and it just cuts it. And I basically made myself a portable lawnmower that just cuts down only trees. So I'm just going to try it on something. Maybe like on this jungle tree right here. So this is for science. So so let me just turn you around. There we go. Okay, so if I turn this around... So it doesn't cut down a full tree. I can't tell. I'm not sure if it has to be like high velocity. I'm not sure if it works on like very big trees or like very small trees. Because I saw that example. It cut down a full tree. So I don't know what I'm doing wrong here. But we'll have to figure it out. Yep, so it does cut down a full tree. That's actually pretty nice. So that would technically mean it can only cut down singular trees. So if I do want to make a tree farm, that's if I just regrow that one plant over and over, or somehow add a dispenser or something that, or maybe use, wait, not even that. Maybe set up a deployer and then add that contraption, and all it does, it just does what it needs to do. It probably does some bone mealing, and then you got yourself that. I mean, I'm really just thinking of possibilities of how would all this go. But let's see. Because I'm working with a messy inventory. I wish they have something where we can clean our inventories better, but this is the experience. I know this middle has to be done soon, but I'm only going to see what I can do, like, for now. Because I know I might think about just try to make the cardboard armor if I could. Just get saplings. Something small or light until I actually get busy. Because I have taken some allergy pills, and I do feel a little bit exhausted. So I'll say, I think planting a tree. I think planting a tree. I think. Because I know the front is going to be more so for the gantry. The back areas, I could definitely put, like, say, another farm for the sugarcane and the flax. Then the other one, I could just do something else. Or I can make these areas more like a neighboring spot, but I'll have to still get some more glass, I guess. I'm really thinking about it. Because if I make a tree cutting farm, that would mean the only function it has is just going back and forth, but that's if it needs a piston extender. That might be my first time trying a piston extender that only cuts down a tree. But I have to see. Because like pause says identify mode, unpause with Q. I'm trying to see like what it is. Because this one looks like it's a piston. What's this? Sticky mechanical piston, because I'm pretty sure it is a piston. This requires an extension pole. Okay. So I have to put it behind it. So I have one. It stretches two. Actually, it's basically an extended version of a regular piston. That makes a lot of sense now. So that means I might do the flooring again out of iron and rinse and repeat. So let's just get on with the build. I know. I mean, I would say for trees, I think trees, they're more like outward. So I go have to be mindful about how many trees I would grow and how many saw blades I would use to cut down the trees, and then add storage chutes to, input and output. But that's if I want everything to cycle through a belt and it just comes on the other side or something like that. But I think the only thing I love about my builds is it's mostly just messy, but sometimes messiness gives it life, because not everything can be organized. Okay. Because I might not make it as large as like that one, but you'll definitely see like how I'm going on about this. Like we still have this, but it's gonna be for the tree or trees. Depends on how many trees we're gonna be making. Yeah, I might get some more iron blocks. Alright. Because once we make the extension pole, and then that, we have ourselves a very functional automated tree cutter. And it will be my first time building this tree cutter, just to see how it can be used in many cases instead of just being an alternative to just a stone cutter. Because it can also cut stone too, because it's a mixture of both, a wood cutter and a stone cutter. But I would say for this one, I'll use it for tree cutting, but trying to automate tree growth, so I don't have to cut more of these trees out here. I can keep everything contained, in which that will also make the environment rebound instead of me just taking it away due to the need of needing wood and other things just to keep my science going. Great, now they're in my farm. I think that's one thing about mobs. I gotta add some lighting in here. These guys are gonna be tramping over my farms. Yep, add lighting. That's what I'm definitely going to have to keep being mindful of. Despite you might have good farms or farms that may look interesting, but you still have to add something so they can't come in and just start trouble. So I gotta see if I have any torches or redstone or glowstone lamps around. Wait a second. I think I know my mining drill actually has coal in it. So I gotta pull up my mining drill. Technically. Monsters are nearby. I find that annoying. Oh, so that's where my card assembler went. It was in there. That's why I made the portable storage. I wish I could have made some of these areas bigger, but I was doing with what I got. For now, I'm just gonna put some torches out here just to light up a way. And then I'm going to place down maybe a water source block or maybe a few saplings just for the pistons to, to move. Because they're gonna be powered up by mechanical energy. And all we gotta do is maybe add another speed controller. Because I think the other one's already using like very slower speeds. There's a drown right here trying to get on the surface. Okay. So I had to think about placing like dirt right here. And then I have to try to figure out how to grow that. Because I know there's going to be like a lot of things. I would say even, I'm thinking deployers. I would be thinking deployers, but at the same time, when you cut down a tree, you also have harvesters. Because it can only do like crops, but I'm trying to see how would a saw. I'm trying to understand the saw part. Now, how can this be automated? Ugh. So it only does for a single tree. The last block connected to the ground. So that means that jungle tree was actually it probably has like a deeper block somewhere. I'm thinking that's if I want to grow a jungle tree. But all that, what's going to happen is if it cuts down a full jungle tree, how is it going to regrow that tree? And then it has to do it again, and then it has to repeat, and it can't. It's like I gotta cycle it. So this is a moving contraption. See, that will easily cut the tree. Just add a chest on top of it, and then it just stores in there. Huh. Yeah. It does make it a little bit rough to try to figure that out. Because once you have like a tree or a plant that kind of just gets auto harvested. Plus, I'm not sure if the harvester also collects like apples and things that probably matter. Well, I'm pretty sure a jungle tree would matter a lot, but I really have to see like how's that gonna play out. Because that does sound pretty daring. Like if I grew a jungle tree, if I technically grew a jungle tree, then I would have tons of wood, which that eliminates the whole get a lot of wood. And at the same time, I'm not sure if I want to make golden apples. See, once I grow this, it turns into a big jungle tree like this, and then I have to get, because since there is no lowest part, I'll have to use a saw, and what happens is all the saws do is just cut through this. They just cut through all this, and then that's it. So I might use 2 saws. Yeah, so I gotta use 2 saws and all that. 2 saws. I'll just use the extension piston. It comes right here. It breaks. It gets stored into a chest. But I'm trying to figure out how would it be placed back in, unless I have to manually place it. But I'm trying to really understand this though, because I know a deployer can definitely do that, but I'm not sure if I need to place deployers. Because actually, let me see something. Because I might have to look at the science with the hand crank. Because even though it's a hand crank, I have to figure out what makes it click. Because I can say something may and may not work, and then I just never tried it. So I'm just gonna go and get the deployer and just try it and just see what happens if I add a sapling onto the deployer hand and see what the results are, how it interacts with the blocks around it. So I don't have any no more deployers. I know I had some more. So I guess they probably want me to make another one. Okay, let me try deployer. Oh, I need a rose quartz. Of course. I guess that's why they say that probably needs automation if I ever want to make that at all. I could probably make that happen. Just add a deployer and it just makes rose quartz. But I gotta add sandpaper. At least it removes a tedious task. So I gotta be mindful about it. Still has to be automated. You can see all that nether quartz. There's so much nether quartz that I can literally redecorate the whole bottom of this laboratory. But again, I'm just going to probably just do it later when I have the chance. I might just make a, I might as well just go ahead and make a deployer for this one then. I mean, it's probably not my plan, but just to at least have a little bit of an easier time. Just to make it a little bit easier. Alright. So when we do this, I'm gonna give it my sandpaper. Because again, I'm sometimes get tired of using, you know, grabbing the sandpaper and using it manually. See. See, it just made life easier. That's the good part. It just made it feel easier. So now I'm going to go ahead and make another deployer. And that means also another brass hand. Just to make one. And I'm going to go ahead and try it on a sapling. Just gotta see, can it place on dirt with my hand crank? Because we've got to check the science behind the kinetics. Because since we need dirt. Just a piece of dirt. Tree. No. Let me try that. Like this. I really have to see, like, how do these plants interact with the environment, or how does this mod interact with the environment? So this needs a hand crank. Let's see. Okay, so it does work. So if I do this, see, there's nothing here. So that would technically mean it can only be placed like that. How about if I place it, you know, no, give me that. Give me those blocks. I'm trying to see what happens if I try to place it upward. I mean, these are all possible solutions. Okay, so nothing happens there. So it can only be placed the way how I placed it. That means if I were thinking to use deployers, it would mean the deployers would technically have to sit like right here to like 2 blocks and place down jungle blocks constantly. And then this one will also have another jungle block. And then I had to figure out bone meal because I'm not sure if plants can be powered up from underneath. And if it can, then I can add bone meal and then somehow make the dispensers keep firing, but I'm not sure that's gonna cause tick rates and stuff like that. But I would say that's gonna sound very sophisticating once you like think deeper into it. But I'll try it in a scientific sense just to see like, does bone meal or does dispensers work? And it's been a long time I've built a dispenser. Good dispensers, it's like you kind of barely hear them these days, other than to like just build it for machine. I will say if you play like vanilla, then I do understand why I still hear it, but it's been a long time ago I've actually heard anything like that. And I need some string for a bow and some wood. Yeah, it does tell me that I haven't even made a bow yet. This inventory is choking me right now. I know it's like, oh, that's a piston. So what's I really forgot what a dispenser was. I think the dispenser was it's like something with a bow. Yeah, it's been far too long I've actually used dispensers. But let me see what happens if we try to plant a tree underneath the block. I'm just going to just check, because I'm still kind of loose and still learning a little bit about Minecraft. So if I'm planting a tree right here, hypothetically, and I get, let me just try bone meal. It'd be quite absurd if this tree grew in my lab, and if I use a lever. Okay, so it doesn't work as I thought. I thought vanilla could help a little, but turns out it's not gonna help. So that means the trees can be grown through deployers. It can be cut down with a saw with a chest attached to it. But the only thing that can't happen is replanting. Not replanting, bone mealing. So that means we still have to wait naturally. So that technically means. So that technically means. Okay, let me try that saw again. I'm trying to see here, because if it's supposed to be able to cut down a full tree, because we just saw with the other one. Okay. I mean, is it? I mean, it is at the bottom, like the bottommost. Plus, I'm not sure it's supposed to be like many saws cutting it down. Let me check that saw example one more time. But it does feel like there's like it's like you gotta get more saws or something. I want to see what happened. In order to I need to slow that down. In order to cut the tree fully, the saw has to break the last block connecting it to the ground. Oh, okay. Now I get it. So that would mean this saw. It will probably just mean both of the saws actually have to cut through this layer, and then cuts through here, and then it destroys this whole entire tree instantly, and then it gets stored into the chest, and then that's when the deployers continue just planting down some more jungle trees just to keep the cycle going. Okay, I think it's starting to make sense now. It starts to make a lot of sense. And since I'm going to be making these pieces here, because we're going to be using extension, I think like extensions. Let me just type piston. We need a sticky mechanical piston, but it's a mechanical one. Piston extension, wood with andesite. Yeah, I think we're learning. We're learning a lot about the mod, and I feel great about it. I think we'll be learning about piston extensions and little things like that. I wish I could make like a tree cutting where it like still powers by a contraption, and it just goes around and just cuts down cuts down singular trees in a row, and it just keeps doing it over and over and over. But in the same time, it kind of feels like you still gotta manually plant them. That's kind of like the difference. But we're just going to try to see how we're going to do this. I may also have to get those sheets back. Okay, so the wood is right here. And I know we might have to make another axe. I'm just telling you, this can be very overwhelming once you like put in the time to like try to understand what you got to do here. Yep, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to connect the mixtures and stuff all over again. Yep. Yep, so that means I might have to break you again. Nope. Oh, there's another deployer. So we have 2 deployers. So do we have enough? I think we might have enough to make 4 deployers. And then we gotta get the iron sheet and the polished rose quartz. And then mechanical saw. It's kind of like making the drill, but we're not making the drill. We're making a saw. So now we have another saw, and then okay, this one just requires wood. I might as well just take some iron. You can tell that my inventory is getting messier again. Sometimes it's hard to stay organized when you're just focusing on the metrics. Like, it's not going to be easy or smooth, but you'll see a lot of progress, which that's what matters. It's mostly just the experience. So I gotta put andesite. Okay, so how many is that? So that's 8. So that's 8. Then I gotta add a. I know I gotta make an axe eventually, just to strip the logs. This one requires a slab. Okay, so we have a mechanical piston. So how do you make a sticky version? It's a literal slime ball. And I think we can also get those from jellyfishes. Yeah. I think these guys might electrocute me if I actually strike them. Okay. I mean, my idea isn't to slay jellyfish, but I think I have to just to get some slime ball out of them. Because I need it for that reason. There we go. Slime ball. And attach it to the mechanical. And then we got the sticky mechanical piston. But this would also mean it can definitely be powered off by like one alone if I connect them both together. So that does save a little bit of time and convenience. Because say we have these 2 drills right here, and I could just stick them together to with like one piston, something like. But also these also need what? Power. That's the thing, they also need power. So how are these things able to work? I mean, that's the crazy part. Let me type the saw, because I'm trying to understand how are they able to make that move. Yeah, you can place it in front. Okay, so I guess it's because it's part of an animation. I guess that's fair. That's pretty much fair. So if I add these, so that's like 1, 2, so I gotta do 4. I mean, that's 4 watt. And then all I gotta do is use the hand crank just to see how this works. Okay. Okay, let me try to fix this. I mean, I'm still learning. Yeah, this is still learning, bro. This is still learning. Okay. Because maybe I want this, because I probably just want them to be like right here. Like, it still works. It's just, it feels kind of messy. And I think all I gotta do is like, no. turn you this way. Just gotta glue these together. Okay, now they're all glued in. Then all I just gotta do is add the extension. So this is what, 1, 2, yeah, that's 4. And if I try to power it with the hand crank, there we go. Wait, let me add a chest because I want to see if it actually pulls into the inventory. If I actually got that to work on my first, or say on my first time or first try without, tutorial, that's actually a good milestone. It means I'm slowly learning, and that's a good feeling because sometimes the feeling of learning something new feels refreshing because we're human. We exist to learn, and learning helps us to understand ourselves better or see how capable we are. Because we are intelligent beings, and we definitely are. And also, there's some pillagers over here. Okay, now let's break that, so when we do this, will it break? Yes, it did it. And how do I... And I think that's the thing. I still don't know, like, the moods. Always place when stopped. Place only in starting position. Okay. So when we check the chest, we get jungle saplings. I'm trying to see. I'm not sure if it's like a cog where I gotta like... Yeah, so I still gotta put something down. Like an actual machine that like goes forward and then it also comes back. But that's a bit messy though, since I mean, I do see like a machine doing that and then it just reads it. But I'll say this is still pretty manual. But it works, but still manual. It's still the most primitive thing that I made, but it's very effective in cutting down full trees instead of just using an iron axe every second. So it actually beats that. It's just the part of making it... It's about making it retract and... I'm trying to see here. Okay, it's gonna move. Yeah, so it's gonna do that. It runs. But I'm trying to see, does it like... Yeah, they cut the trees, but do they retract? See, I think that's the part I'm trying to understand. I'm not sure if the hand crank is like very manual, but if I add shafts to it and gearboxes, will it make it like come back on its own, or boomerang effect? Because if it does that, then that's a good sign. So let's try connecting. That means I'm either connecting to an existing gearbox. Might as well do it for science. Yeah. So that means I would have to. What is this? What is this? Okay. So it leads to that piece. I'll just break that. So I'm pretty much gonna have to. Ow. That's mean. So I'm just make a little pipe system here. Because what I'm going to do is learn how to program this manually. I mean, automatically, so we don't have to do a lot of this automation. Not manually. I don't even know what I'm saying because I do sound a bit tired. Like I'm between like being awake and then also very tired because it's what 4:27 a.m. and I am a lot chattier than before because again this is how I normally am. I could have started at earlier time just to play on here, but my mind chose to just enjoy this game, have some water nearby. I know I gotta make another wheel, probably for the bottom for the mixer. Mm. I think for this screenshot or thumbnail, it's gonna definitely just be me working on the on the automated tree farm because I never done this before, and I'm just going to say I will say most of the stuff that you're going to be seeing is going to be brand new, a brand new experience for me in general. Like it's going to be brand new. Like I never made shafts, I never made little contraptions. I know somebody's going to tell me, or somebody might tell me I didn't have to do it this way, and I'm like, it doesn't matter if there's a proper way to play. Honestly, it's just about having fun and just enjoy the experience and just experiment. It's mostly just experimenting, like what I can and can't do, but it's mostly just for me to learn naturally, do like trial and error and seeing like the issues come before me, or whenever I see an issue with something, I have to fix it. That's how people learn. If you're telling me like I'm doing something wrong, I gotta use tutorials, then it kind of ruins the whole novelty of me learning anything in general. I mean, I can still take notes, but I don't want to be spoiled on like how to build something properly just because it doesn't look proper. But in science, to me, it's all about learning. And I know I gotta make some more gear shafts. And I think this one is connected to that same network, which is going to be very slow. And I also got to add like 2 gearboxes. I know I got to like add like one here and then one on the other side. Like I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to do that. Because you have like, I don't know. I'm not sure if like one retracts and the other one does something else. I just have to see. See, you can see. Okay. What if I override this? Will it move? Is it going to move? Will it move? It's not moving. I'm not sure. Is it because it's not cutting the tree? Is it the speed? I'm just trying to see like what's happening, because I know it has to do something with speed. Because if I know if I made this any faster, it probably won't be harvesting anything. See, yeah, this one is moving fast. I think that's fine, as long as they can still like cut crops down. But this, I'm trying to see like what's going on here. Like, why are you not moving? Like, does it need like? I'm not sure if it needs like higher speeds just for it to work. That's kind of insane. Let me see. It seems like it needs higher speeds just to do that, but I'm not sure if it's based on orientation or something else, because it could be orientation. And then I have to yeah. So yeah, you definitely gotta reset it all back. Yeah, it does make you feel like yeah, this is pretty messy. Pretty messy indeed. Because it seems like it can only go in a particular way. It can only go in a particular way. So I'm not sure if I have to like make it just go that one way and then it resets on its own. Because I'm also looking at how fast this thing is going, unless I want to put like another speed controller somewhere, or probably put one right here and just let it do what it need to do. But I will still have to do some rewiring in the setup. And for the deployers, I have to see how those are gonna go, honestly, because it's gonna look very weird since I'm trying to automate it, where it's like it still picks stuff up and all I just gotta do is just place it down and that's it. Just let nature run its course. Because I just love to see how nature responds to this. So if I do it like this. Okay, so it does in fact does that, but I want to see, does it like move back on its own? That's kind of the thing I'm having a problem if it doesn't move back on its own. So how are you able to retract? Okay. Okay, let me just try to reset that back. No, so it doesn't work that way. That is strange. I really gotta see how cutting this tree is gonna be any easier. Unless I really do think about just setting up single trees and just let it just cut like whatever it sees. Just put like a lot of saws on the side and probably put like a chest and just let it just zip through. I'll probably come up with something. Because right now that's how far it can go that way. Because this one has like left and right. Yeah. So yeah, I do see this as like an issue. So it's not totally... This is still... I'll say it just makes cutting bigger trees easier. I think that's what I'm getting out of this. It just makes cutting trees a lot easier. Like, you can definitely just do this, and then I just get bone meal, and just look at that. See, you can see this tree, and I might as well just take a screenshot of me with this tree and this whole setup here, because it's still, I'm just going to say it's still pretty primitive. Like, it's still a pretty primitive build. I might just take my helmet off. There we go. So you can see, like, you can see that we're still working on some very primitive setup with the tree, because that is what we're doing here. But I am looking at my time. I do need a rest. But you can see that we were trying to fix this or set it up, but you can see that we are coming across a problem with the with the how the kinetics work here, because what I'm seeing here is we have one that's going this way, you have another side that's going that way that retracts it back. So it seems like you still need something that retracts it back as well. And if I can't use the but sometimes people sometimes just put the saw, like the saw sometimes might just stay in that one location for the longest time and it just cuts. But actually it does make me think about something. So let me just place that, let me just try to do this manually. So this is what it would look like if you just cut it down. You've probably already seen this already. But I'll say this is still a good idea that I have in mind. See, it cuts down the full tree and it automatically places. And then I just retract it back and do it again. But this time, let me just try just a small sapling just to see what happens. Just to see if I do this. Okay, so yeah. So it seems like there is like a limit on what you can place and what you can't place. I'm saying this is still a learning experience. I think if I actually do make something more complicated, maybe it probably has like a system where I could add like a saw and then it does something else where it somehow adds seeds and it starts adding like, I don't know, it starts adding like trees and such. Like it actually inputs them in there, but I know it's going to require like, it's going to require deployers just to place them there specifically in a particular way. But that's so, it's so complicated. It's like, it's so, it's oddly complicated. It's like you have the saw that can cut the bottom, but it's all about the placing wise. It's like you can do that. Like you can have some that can place it. Then if you add deployers, if you add the deployers, that's what the deployers are like. See, it's cutting the tree right like this, and then the deployers are just constantly just spamming, and they have to somehow cross like what, like two blocks to get to this one, and also for the other side. At that point, that is literally a that's gonna literally just be a contraption. But let me try adding, just say one deployer, for example, and I'm just going to use all this super glue. I'm just going to just add it in. Okay, now it's gone. So if I place it, let me see what happens. So nothing happens there. And if I try to pull it back. Okay, so it does work. So it does pull from the inventory. So, I think I might have a plan, but it's going to look very weird. It's going to be weird, though. And let me just reset this back. Oh. Did I just got punched by a deployer? I got punched by a machine. That's interesting. That's remarkably interesting. Okay, now it's stopped. That's interesting. That is uniquely interesting. Okay. So the deployers do in fact work. They do work. They absolutely do work. So if I... So let me just... It feels like I do want to continue on further, though. Like, it's like I'm kind of excited because it's like, wait a minute. If I can do that with the deployer, then I'm pretty sure I could probably set up something where I can add like chests on top, and I could just place down all my saplings. Like, I'll say mostly all the saplings, and possibly bone meal too. Unless there's like a way for me to bone meal. Because I think you can also bone meal them with the deployers. That's how you keep the trees growing, but I'm pretty sure I'm just going to let nature just do what it needs to do. Because nature knows. See, because if I have this, it's gonna cross over to like, the way how I remember, it crosses over like 2 blocks. Let me just type W. Okay, yeah, it does that. 2 blocks. See, it naturally places 2 blocks, so that means I'm forced to move this out here, which is 2 blocks. I really gotta see how this contraption's gonna go. It's gonna be a weird looking contraption, like honestly, but it might work. It might work in a scientific sense. Crazy, but very experimental. And then we just add some chests. Gotta make some more chests. I think I like when I get sophisticated, when I start learning new things. Like, I know it feels like I'm going to create fever right now, but it's not too far off from Greg Tech New Horizons. I mean, there's still a lot more things I can learn. Like, I'm learning about kinetic energy and how it works and how it interacts with the environment, but there's just a lot of things in here, like lots of things that I don't even know about. But it's like, once I know what it does, then everything's going to become a little bit easier. Just gotta place the chests like this. And I know I gotta like glue all this together, because I'm pretty sure all this is going to be included, all of it. Just gotta make sure I don't like accidentally glue like the wrong stuff on. Okay, so all that should be together, and then these should only place jungle saplings. See, these they're gonna place. I can just place them like that. Unless I can have them filtered where it can accept whatever. But I'm really trying to see like how this works. So if I use the, let me set this starting position. Okay, I'm trying to push it. I'm not sure. I'm really just not sure if it's like stuck to the ground or it just can't move. I'm not sure if it needs like, oh no, because it's retracting back. Oh, let me just do this. Look at that. I would say it still works. I'll say, yep, it works, but I still gotta need like bone meal. So yeah, so it does automatically plant them down. That's good. I'm just thinking it's the bone meal part. So I think you kind of wait naturally for this to happen. That's funny. That is hilarious. Very hilarious. So I gotta wait for that to naturally happen, or naturally grow out of just the environment itself. I might retake another screenshot of that, because I mean, I mean, I will say it works. It works. It just, I just don't think it works like what I think it does, but it works. See, it grows into a tree, and let me just go sleep in the bed just to capture like a more refined thumbnail of the morning rise. Since technically it's morning, it's 4:46 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I'm just going to take a picture of me again, but this one might be a little more refined because this time it's an actual. I'll say it's a tree cutter, definitely a definite tree cutter. Put my wrench right here. And I might just stand probably like maybe like this. I don't know. It's sort of like sometimes doing these thumbnails is a little bit tricky, but it's all part of the experience. Like you can see that I'm actually working on that tree, but I'm pretty sure people will not understand like what I'm doing. But it's fine. See, I'll say since it's in this state, I'll have to move it over here. But it does make you think about making two hand cranks. That means I still gotta like walk over or walk around to operate this. So right now, all I just gotta do is cut it because it's gonna go straight forward. It's gonna get stored in the inventory because it's only gonna be filtered to only accept the saplings. If I do this, it replants it. Yeah. So basically, this is my tree cutter that I still physically have to monitor. I really wish there was like more I can do today, which I will do later on, but it's still it's still a lot to do. There's a lot to do. But it works. Now we're getting tons of wood, and that means I don't have to cut down a lot of dark oak or anything like that, since we just kind of have that ability to do it multiple times. And we still got to use bone meal to keep it nice and healthy, or just to wait for the environment to change. But yeah, that is going to conclude for this playthrough, and it will be one of the shortest though, but luckily I can always pair it up with another ongoing video just to keep this momentum going, because I know there's a lot more to do in Create. And we also built ourselves our little storage, so if we ever go do things, we can just put stuff on the go, or if I ever return to the floating island to pick up anything from my abandoned laboratory, if there's anything I want to pick up out of there. I doubt there's anything for me to pick out of there. Yeah, I could just still store whatever I can, and I just use the wrench and pick stuff up and be on my way. But anyways, I hope everybody enjoys their time. And I know I'm supposed to make another large wheel for the bottom for the mixer. And you know what? I might as well just do that while still closing off the video, because yep, I mean, I'm a little bit exhausted, but this is what it's like. So let me just do this again. So let me just do that. All right, now we're gonna go down and just add some more rows, and then I will connect the mixer and the blaze burner, and then we can make some more brass again. But I think when I return, I'll just work on the andesite farm in another to keep my mind busy, just to see like how far I can go with Create, because there's a lot of stuff in Create. Like there's genuinely like a lot of stuff. Like lots of stuff. So let me just break these. Add you and add you. There we go. So that should give us a little more power for our systems. Wait, did the wheel fall off? Because I know I added like another wheel. I think the wheel fall off, didn't it? But I do need to make sure I keep these torches on. Wait, so I... Okay, there it is. Yeah. Yeah, this can be very messy sometimes. But it's all part of the experience. So I think all I just gotta do is like cover this for a moment, and then add my large wheel. Just gonna wait for that to settle. Oh, come on. Okay. Yeah, this is all part of the experience apparently. So where did the other wheel go? Did it like slide under? Or get pushed out? It looked like it got pushed out or something. So do I have to make like another wheel? Oh my goodness. I know. It's messy. Crate is not something that you can perfect, but it's part of the messy experience. Like it's extremely messy. Add water to you, and then break you in half. Now you should be functional, since you have more rotational power. More rotational power meaning more kinetic output. And then now I can add the blaze burner, and oh my goodness, this inventory is driving me a little bit insane. Because I'm seeing it every day, and I wish I had a mod that allows me to organize this stuff, but it seems like we're still doing everything the primitive way and just dealing with the absurdity of the inventory. So, and if I want to say it in Legacy's words, you just gotta learn to deal with it. that's what he would have told me, to deal with it. So now let me set this blaze burner. So let me just add, I'm just gonna add the blaze burner right here. I don't think it's gonna burn anything nearby. I mean, I hope not, unless I want to like move it out the way so it doesn't cause like massive fires or anything. I know this thing is gonna shoot me like right into this wall. I don't know why, but it does. Mixer. I know the basin has to go right on top of there. Then the mixer. Okay, so the mixer only needs it only needs like upward. It only needs cogwheels that go upwards. Okay. I mean, that doesn't sound too bad. I mean, I still gotta like do something like this, or you know, decorate it a little bit. Add a little bit of decoration. Can't hide that. There we go. Add a little bit of decoration, and then add a vertical shaft, and then begin adding the cogwheels. And now we have is the basin, in which it just needs to be heated up. And I'm going to put in a few pieces of, or just put some stacks of stuff in here. I do need some more zinc though. So let me just put like 30 pieces of zinc in here. But other than that, I just think that's everything for me for this morning until I return back with some more Monulite SMP experience. And I should also add a filter to this to maybe make it filter out easier into a chest or a vault, because I think the blaze would probably cook my stuff. Better yet, I think I should add like a smart filter for this. It feels like I'm just doing so much stalling and being sidetracked by everything. But it's all part of the experience, so I'm going to accept it. It's all part of the experience. If I'm trying to add a chute, it has to go into a chest. Or maybe, because I probably just want this to come out. I'm thinking I might just put a hopper here. Yeah, I think I might just put a hopper. It sounds pretty primitive, but I think a hopper might just do for now. I'm sorry again. I'm just doing a lot of... Oh my goodness. I'm so sophisticated that I just can't stop playing. Alright, so let me just put a chest right here and then just do this. And I want this to output only brass because technically it can only do brass for now. So let me just do this. There we go. So now we're getting brass, but it's coming through hoppers. And all I gotta do is smelt some more raw zinc and just keep the cycle going. But yeah, I'm thinking for my agenda later on, I may either have to do the andesite farm just to make some more andesite alloy, or just build more to the lab. Because I always keep saying I'm going to do something to this lab over and over and over and over, but it seems like I'm just going to do it intentionally when I feel like I really want to dress it up, because I'm still doing a lot of things. I'm still growing. I'm still learning. I'm still processing. I'm still doing a lot of things. But if I do tend to build a laboratory, though, I should just work on this clipboard a little more efficiently, because I know there's like a lot of stuff here, but I'm going to say I could just remove that, and I'm just going to, I'll say, remove the gantry for now, and just return back to build my service laboratory, which means later on we're just going to work on building the place to make it look a little more nicer and a little more organized, instead of just looking like a half-ruined area or an abandoned factory that's trying to stay afloat. But yeah, I'm very thankful for everybody for watching this playthrough, and I have officially made myself a manual tree cutter, but I still gotta manually use the machine, but I may have to make another hand crank just to make it retract and make it cut. So if you guys want to know how to use it, all I just gotta do is use my hand crank, and I just move it forward. It just breaks the veins, but I know that I can add higher speeds just to control it. But again, I'll say this will mostly be manual, and then when I do that, you'll see that it has been collected, or it cuts down the full tree with the saplings inside here. And then when it's time to retract, I move it to the other side, not back there, but right here. And then it replants those trees right back whenever I feel like I want to grow some more. But eventually I may try to automate it, but again, it seems like it's gonna mostly just be manual for now. And I think it's worth for being manual, since I'm getting a ton of logs instead of just me cutting down the whole forest out there. But until then, I'll see you guys next time with another Monulite SMP experience.